We are constitutional conservatives. That's what we're proud about as well. And it is a pleasure to have Dave Brat back on the program. I want to congratulate you, as do the members of my audience, sir.
Yeah, unreal. Thanks, Mark. Well, it's in large part due to you. And
no, it's not, and you don't need to say that. It's due to you and your campaign and everything. I just want to say that because, man, you're the one who stepped up to the plate. You're the one who put your life on hold. You're the one who was under vicious assault day in and day out. And I just want to thank you for doing what you've done, because I want people to know you still have to win an election.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Right. Any folks that can support me at DaveBratForCongress.com, that'd be super. But I needed you guys to validate the conservative message, because Eric was calling me a liberal every day on the news in our area, and so you cut through all that with the truth, and you said right up front, we're doing it because it's the right thing to do, and I teach ethics, and so I admire guys like you.
Well, God bless you, man, and we got to get you into Congress, because you will be terrific. You'll be a star there. Now, Dave, a lot of people are saying, what was this all about? I think you said day in and day out what your race was about. So remind them, that is, the people who are asking, not my audience, but others, what was this all about? Tell them what it was all about.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just went door to door, knocked on doors. We said, is our government, is our country on the right track? And everyone says no in colorful terms. And then we just go down the issues, and in my stump speech, I go over the Republican creed. Those are the principles we're supposed to live up to. You know, free markets, equal treatment under the law, equal justice, fiscal responsibility, constitutional adherence, strong defense, and belief in God and the faith of our founders. And then as the campaign went on, those principles became, a little hotter, and we saw the border problem and amnesty jumps just straight up at us. And Eric Cantor was sending out mailers flip-flopping on that issue by the day. And so he was working for the chamber to bring us cheap labor for big business, and everybody in our district knew what that meant. That means they're going to get lower wages, and the unemployment rate's going to get even worse than it is right now. And that coupled with a few other details where Eric was just way off the map, and people made the right call. Plus, one of the major other issues was accessibility. Eric's up there in D.C., and he says today, I heard him on the TV, he said he's home every week, but he does not hold any town halls. And I made a pledge to meet with people from every county once a month, and so that's the shell of it.
Geez, I'm home every week, too, but I don't go door-to-door talking to constituents. You know, we can all say that.
Right.
Now, yeah, so what do you think this general election is going to be about? Same issues that you're running against one of your faculty colleagues, a left-wing professor from the same college, I understand.
Yeah, and so, same principles, and he may try to articulate some of the same principles I brought up, but they, on the left and Democrat side, they can't match it, right? They cannot match the idea that we need to get out of D.C. They want to enhance and grow Washington, and conservatives want to follow the 10th Amendment and bring all the powers not enumerated back down to the states and to the people. And so I think it's going to be that straight of a message, and we'll just go, point by point, issue by issue, but that'll be the guiding logic.
You know, Dave Brat, we've seen in some of these cases where a conservative wins the primary, and then the establishment actually acts to sabotage them. We saw this in Indiana with Lugar. We've seen it in other places, too, where they would rather lose the seat to a Democrat and hope to come back and defeat the Democrat with one of the machine Republicans. You have your eye on that?
I'm looking at it, but I have a feeling. I mean, every stump speech I gave, when they go to my webpage and they see I ran 100% Republican with grassroots and strong Tea Party support that brought me over the finish line, they'll see that the grassroots principles are the Republican principles. And I think we need to unify the party, and I'm the guy to do it. I mean, I want to grow the party and be successful so that we can kind of have the Reagan, three-legged stool and bring us all together again. They're the ones that are kind of shooting the grassroots people in the foot every day, and so time for that to end and unify everyone along a principle-led policy for Republicans.
Okay, but we do need to keep our eyes open because I've seen this happen. What you're saying is, look, I'm going to go over the heads of all this stuff, all these petty politicians, all these backstabbing consultants and so forth, and I'm going to go to the people and try and pull all the conservatives and Republicans together.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's what I did in this election. I mean, that's why I'm confident. You guys helped me. My regional press, my local paper, the Richmond Times-Dispatch, today, in their editorial board position, came out bashing me after I won. They're still yearning for Eric Cantor and can't believe, we gave up Eric. They called him indispensable the other day. And, so, I mean, if that's the establishment, yeah, I'm in trouble. I mean, if that is the establishment, right? And so,
it's amazing how politicians are indispensable. These men and women are supposed to stand for election. They're not lifetime appointments. Do they not understand the nature of franchise and what the framers talked about?
I don't think they do. I think the ends justify the means for them, and the end is to keep the cronies happy, right? And so they're willing to give up first principles. Eric was sending out untruths by the day, and that same paper wouldn't report on any of that. And so we went over their heads. We went straight to people, to their doors, and people knew. And by the end, I was able to send out enough mailers and get on TV and radio to get the truth out there, and it stuck out like a sore thumb. So in the end, the truth won, and I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. I'm having, overwhelming response after the win. Everybody's just ecstatic, and so now I have a vehicle to get back to everybody, and so I'm highly confident.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to ask you this question too about your position on the debt ceiling, as an example, because that'll be coming up in a year or so. Is it your position we can't just keep voting on these debt ceilings, that there has to be some indication that we're going to start cutting the size of government and cutting spending before you'll vote for that?
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, I have the luxury of getting to do it the right way. I don't want to wait till I get to the debt ceiling because there's technical issues involved that are complex. But I'm going to make promises on the spending side up front on paper ahead of time. And then if we get a budget that doesn't satisfy those spending principles, I will say ahead of time that I will not vote for the debt ceiling increase. And so, yeah, that's the way to do it.
We have a refugee problem, obviously, on our southern border. You referred to it. It's only getting worse. The President of the United States refuses to secure that border. The Attorney General sent 100 lawyers there to represent the illegal aliens. We have governors who are crying out for help. We have a Supreme Court that said, well, the president can do pretty much whatever he wants to do. Why would we cut a deal with a president, any kind of deal, who refuses first and foremost to secure the border? To me, that is amnesty. If you don't secure the border, then amnesty is endless. Illegal aliens are endless. So if you don't secure the border, that is amnesty. What is your position?
Well, that is my position, and with the rise of the executive presidency and the enhanced powers of the presidency, the legislative wing has to step up all the more because he does have that power. We've let it slip out of the members who represent the people, and so we just got to get back to first principles in the first place and get the congressional guys to stand back for the people in the middle class. And once that happens, we can solve these issues.
The Environmental Protection Agency acts like a Congress all of its own, and not even requiring a presidential signature, and they issue regulations, one that is going to cripple our coal industry, cripple a whole bunch of public utilities that create energy. Is this constitutional?
I don't think it is at all. I mean, I'm running on free markets, and I'll take that to the Democrat challenger, and energy has to be low cost, and there's the best way to do that is through the price system. And so the president's run amok, and all of that is tied to the crony capitalist agenda, right? Everybody's getting tax credits for green this and tax deductions for green this and big this, and everybody knows at the end of the day who's picking up the tab for any failure of any of these green firms. It's of course the taxpayer and the people. And so, like issue after issue that you're bringing up, it all comes back to the same thing. D.C. is out of control, and we need to return power on these issues to the states.
Meanwhile, the president is gutting the United States military. What is your view of that?
The military is the one enumerated power that is the most significant for the federal government. And so that is the one responsibility President Obama does have, and he's failing. He's drawing red lines all over the world that are being disrespected, and he's losing credibility for us. And so it's pretty simple. The U.S. has to not only stand up symbolically, but in our actions, and we're failing to do that.
You believe, as Reagan does, in peace through strength. In other words, you need the most powerful military in order to keep the peace. Yeah,
that's right, and we have it. I mean, our defense budget, I think, is bigger than the next 10 countries lined up end to end in terms of military, and I think it's time to ask the Europeans and some of the other folks to start paying off some of the support that the U.S. is paying for. But, yeah, I do believe that if you took away the U.S. force projection that we have around the world, you'd have utter chaos. And so that's not in question.
Well, the president's going to drive our Navy from 600 ships under Reagan to under 300. He's driving our armed services in terms of personnel numbers to World War I levels, and that doesn't even include the fact that everybody is not a soldier, that you have this backup support. Europe is not going to step up because Europe never steps up. So This is an area of concern for me. I'm not into these democracy projects and interventionism and so forth. I'm into protecting us and our allies. And the force structure they've created, according to this Secretary of Defense, is not capable of fighting two regional wars. China's on the move. Russia's on the move. You got absolute chaos in the Middle East. You see communism growing again in Central and South America. I don't know. I don't think this is the time to cut the military.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I talked to a couple of generals who were helping me out a week or two ago, and they also said the U.S. has always had the ability and the capability to strike anywhere in the world at a moment's notice, and that is no longer the case. And they said that is shocking. And so some of the generals are starting to speak up on that. And so I'm not an expert in all things. I try to stay on the more fiscal side, but I will seek out the wisest counsel I can from the best generals on that and make sure our interests are protected.
You know, I think you're a future star of the Republican Party. I think you're a constitutional conservative. I would like you to leave a final message with my audience and also give out your website, because you do have what's going to be a very tough general election. Go right ahead.
Yeah, well, the Republican Party needs to stand again, as at our founding, on principles. We're getting too cute. We're kind of just striving for votes with cute little gimmicks. We need to return to the founding principles that made us great, and that's basically a combination of the Judeo-Christian tradition, the rule of law, and free markets. They're all interwoven logically. They all work together. And that's the path forward if we want success. And so thank you again for having me on. And if the folks can support me, I'd very much appreciate it. It's Dave Brat, B-R-A-T, DaveBratForCongress.com. And your generosity would be greatly appreciated. So do what you can, and let's take the country back.
You know, one quick point. You mentioned the Judeo-Christian tradition. And you've been attacked for this. Do these people attacking you even understand our history? Do they understand it's based in the Judeo-Christian tradition as well as the Enlightenment? And that's the nature of Western civilization? I mean, they're attacking you for even saying that.
Yeah, no, I know, and it's in the Republican Creed, and so we're standing up for it, and I'm standing up for it. The entire rights tradition emerged in about 1400 only in Western Europe. And that's not by accident. That rights tradition emerges out of the tradition of freedom for conscience, because we believe all people are created in the image of God. And so that is utterly important for the continuation of our republic. And if we give that up, we give up the country.
All right, Dave. Great job, my man, and we'll have you back. And good luck. God bless you.
Hey, God bless you too. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
All right, there he goes, Dave Brat. He is going to be a superstar. And when I was first watching reports on this victory that he had, I even commented on the air live. Boy, all the glum faces on TV. What's the problem? You notice that, Mr. Producer, too? What the hell's going on? Oh, my God. Oh, Cantor lost. You'd think the guy was Churchill, which he clearly was not.